Perfect. Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Gabrielle Trasati, and I'm the outreach coordinator for Luksic Scholars, part of the Luksic Foundation. And I do want to start by thanking the teams at the University of Edinburgh and the Edinburgh Futures Institute for helping organize this webinar today. I will go ahead and get us started. So as for today's event, I'll provide just some brief information about Luksic Scholars and what it is that we do, and then we will pass it over to our two special guests that we have joining us today, Dr. Kate Orton-Johnson. She's the Director of Education at the Edinburgh Futures Institute, and we're also joined by Delinda Perez, who manages the student recruitment and admissions. They will provide us with an overview of the University of Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Futures Institute, what life is like on campus. You'll get to hear about the master's programs that are available, what do those entail, and also how to access the Luksic scholarships. And at the end of the webinar, we will have some time for Q&A, so do prepare any questions that you have. We can let you unmute, so you can ask them live, or you can just simply type them there in the Q&A box. And then I did just want to let everyone know that a recording of this webinar will be made available at the end of this week, and you'll get that sent via email in case there's anything you'd like to go back to and look at. So I'll just kick us off. So here at Luksic Scholars, our vision is to create stronger links between Chile and the international academic world. And we do this by creating academic opportunities in partnership with both international and national institutions, such as the one that brings us here today with the University of Edinburgh. A bit of our history. So we form part of the greater Luksic Foundation. We're a private family foundation, and we represent more than 2 decades of the Luksic family's philanthropic efforts within international higher education. And over the past 20 years, our goal has been to provide Chileans with access to international academic opportunities. We've done this over 7 countries with over 18 institutions, implemented over 30 different types of programs, and that has resulted in just about 2,000 scholars being able to access these opportunities. And then in 2019, that's when the Luksic Scholars community was created. So anyone who has participated in a program supported by Luksic Scholars, they get to form part of this international network. And we're able to then provide post-program opportunities as well. So I'll touch a bit on that. In terms of what our guiding principles are, so in all the work that we do, we have 3 factors that really guide us. The first is country vision. So making sure that all our work aligns with Chile's needs, developments, advancements. Connection is the second one. So this relates to creating and strengthening bridges within Chile and between Chile and the world. And we do this by creating these strategic international academic partnerships with specific institutions. And then plurality, which is, of course, extremely important, is making sure a diverse range of people are able to access the opportunities we support. So this information session, for example, having it made virtually so people all throughout Chile can access this. We have the University of Edinburgh on. Feel free to also share this with your friends, family, colleagues. And in terms of the priority areas that we have for the next few years, so when we speak on Chile's development progress, at Luksic Scholars, we've identified specific priority areas, and today we'll be focusing on sustainability and data. So as for sustainability, we perceive this as a means of making life better today so that future generations can also enjoy a good quality of life. And then in terms of data, as we know, we're sort of navigating this new world in which understanding the use of data, artificial intelligence in our lives is quite vital. And through the Edinburgh Futures Institute, that's where we're able to offer these access to international academic programs, specifically to master's programs in these areas. And our goal is to support future leaders in these fields, so you feel equipped with the necessary knowledge, resources to start to create positive change within your community, within your professional environment. And so this is giving just a quick screenshot of the types of programs that we support. So today we'll focus on the scholarships, which we offer in master's and doctorate. We also have research funding, so that's for academics and professors. And we have bespoke programs. These are specific programs which are to help train professionals and even institutions in certain skill sets. And as I mentioned prior, all of those who participate in any of these three types of programs are then invited to join the Luksic Scholars community. So you really have lots of different support, not just on the financial aspect side, but also you have sort of all of these networks here to back you up, connections, professional opportunities. We really do seek to sort of accompany you within your academic journey. So connecting with other scholars who are also going to do other master's programs in the UK, invite you to a breakfast here in the office to get to know you, get on welcome calls. There's an annual fund that we offer to support your projects post-program. So those are some of the opportunities that we have available. And then as for the more exciting part of the presentation, specifically on the Luksic Scholarship at the Edinburgh Futures Institute, this is a new opportunity launched just this year, so we're very excited. Absolutely love this new partnership that we have with the University of Edinburgh. And as I mentioned, these scholarships are to support the development of leaders and professionals in sustainability or data. And so there's a total of 3 scholarships that are available each year for Chilean candidates who are accepted into either the Masters of Science in Circular Economy or the Masters of Science in Data and Artificial Intelligence Ethics. And I know the team here will provide some more information specifically to the master's program. But in terms of the scholarships themselves, the idea behind scholars is that we really want candidates to be able to fully enjoy the experience abroad, focusing on professional development and studies, not necessarily worrying about the financial aspect. So it is a full scholarship, tuition's completely covered. You get a living stipend that is for the entire duration of the program. We've worked with the University of Edinburgh to sort of calculate this figure. So it is going to be based off an analysis of what cost of living like are there in the city. And then a arrival cost sort of allowance so that you can get there, get sort of set up and not have to worry about that part as well. And just as a quick reminder, all of the admissions, selection, adjudication of funding are all managed by the universities themselves. Here at Luksic Scholars, we don't participate in those processes. The universities here are the experts, and Kate and Delinda will be able to tell you a bit more. So that is it from me. Thank you guys again for joining us. And I will hand it over to Delinda, who will tell us a bit more about the university and the local office here. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Gabrielle. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the opportunity. We're all very excited about this new scholarship, as you're saying. So it has been great to have this kind of opportunity and to do some teamwork to give opportunities for Chilean students. Hello, everyone. I am Dalinda Perez Alvarez, and I am the Deputy Head of International Student Recruitment within Student Recruitment and Admissions at the University of Edinburgh. Just want to say that the University of Edinburgh has 5 offices outside of Scotland. One of them is here in Santiago. So we are based here in El Golf in Santiago. And if you ever want to come and speak to us, it would be very good. We should make an appointment ahead of time. But anything that you need, we'll be very happy to speak to you. I speak in plural because I have my colleague Teresa and myself based here in Santiago. Okay, so thank you. Felicia, should I be? Yeah, excellent. As Gabrielle was saying, I'm just wanting to give you an overview of Scotland, Edinburgh, the city, and the University of Edinburgh itself. And then Kate will give you further information about Edinburgh's Futures Institute and the programs. So Scotland, it's a beautiful country, I should say. It's a small country with just 5 5.5 million people, more or less. Edinburgh is the capital city, and it has about 500,000 people. Scotland is a beautiful country. The Highlands are just beautiful. The cities are just beautiful. So we really hope that you get the opportunity to come and study in Scotland. People are very welcoming, very friendly, very hospitable. And I don't know if you know, but Scotland has its own parliament, its own education system, its own banknotes. So it's really interesting to see that there. The next one, please. Can we change? Yeah, thank you. Edinburgh as a city. Edinburgh is the capital city of the country. And as I was saying, it has around 500,000 inhabitants. It is a very safe city. It has a lot of green spaces. It even has an extinct volcano in its vicinity. It's called Arthur's Seat. Here in this photo that we have here, this is called Carlton Hill. And when you go up, you can see the magnificent view of the city. It is also very famous to be a cultural hub. Edinburgh hosts the second largest arts festival in the world, that is in the month of August. So the whole month of August, there's a very vibrant atmosphere in the city with people and artists coming from all around the world. I have said twice already that Edinburgh has 500,000 people. Well, in August, we have about 2 million people, so it really increases, and we're all there for the culture. It's also interesting to say that it's a very multicultural community, and it's also a city that is very interesting in the sense that Edinburgh has 4 universities. Apart from the University of Edinburgh, there are other 3 universities that are in the city. So a lot of people that are in the city are related to the academic world in that sense. So that is also something that makes it a very vibrant place. It is very walkable because it's very compact. So we'll speak about this in a little bit, but I think that that's also really very, very good. The next one, please. The University of Edinburgh itself. So the University of Edinburgh is what it's called in UK standards an ancient university. It was founded in 1583, and it is a very research-led institution. It is very big for British standards, and we'll speak about that in a second. Sometimes rankings count, sometimes they don't count that much, but today I am going to say that according to the latest US World Ranking, we are number 22 in the world, and we are very, very excited about that. I also want to say that we are there to work to really give you the very best of your experience in different areas. So we excel in different areas. It is a very competitive institution, but I think it is worth the effort. Because I think that going to Edinburgh, then everything that you'll learn and share in the classroom and outside the classroom, I would say. I studied in Scotland for a year, and I can tell you everything that I learned, not only inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom, really, really was very impactful for my future. The next one, please, Felicia. Thank you. I want to explain that in the UK, we have what is called campus universities and non-campus universities. So in this case, the University of Edinburgh is a non-campus university. So what it means is that the university is placed within the city. So the university buildings are part integral part of the city as well. Nevertheless, as you can see in this map, we do have a conglomerate of buildings in the city center. Also, we have another campus, if we will call it like that, that's called King's Buildings. We also have another set of buildings that form the School of Medicine, and another set of buildings that are right outside the city in what we call Easterbush campus, and that is where the veterinary medicine buildings are. The next one, please. Thank you. So as I was saying, Edinburgh is a non-campus university. So the buildings are all around the city. But as I was saying earlier, it is also a very compact and walkable city. Most likely, you will not be needing public transport. You might have the chance to walk to your classes. Maybe you're going to be living nearby. Maybe another way is to cycle to school. You can buy a secondhand bicycle, etc. What I want to say is that it is very convenient and everything is, not more than 40 minutes away, either walking or, cycling, if that's really, really an extremely far place that you're coming from. It is a very safe city, I should say that, of course, as in any city, you need to be careful and know your bearings, etc. But it is a very safe city, all in all. The next one, please. Thank you. Here, I do want to say that if you came to Edinburgh, you will really be learning from the best of the best. I always like to speak about our alumni as well when I see this slide and when I see this photo. This photo here is McEwan's Hall from the inside. So that is a beautiful university building that is located in the city, in the central campus. And that's where you'll graduate if you came with us. And that happened. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. But that also brings me to different, very interesting alumni that we have had. Charles Darwin studied at the university, Adam Smith, J.K. Rowling, and others that you might recognize names have studied with us. But also, it's not only what we have done in the past, what we have also done in the recent past. So I'm sure that you all have heard about Dolly the sheep. That was the first cloned mammal that was done at the University of Edinburgh. Also, we are very innovative and just out there building robots. And I am very happy to say that I have worked really closely to one of our colleagues that is the person that invented devising technology like smartphones. There's another of our colleagues, Harold Haas, that has worked in what it's called Li-Fi. So of course, Wi-Fi is internet through waves, and this is a Li-Fi is internet through LED light. So it's things that are, going out there. And of course, with the Edinburgh Futures Institute, it's going to be very, very clear when Kate shares with you what we're thinking and how we are very multidisciplinary institution. That I think that's also very good to say, because that way our degrees, as it says here, will really respond to global and current challenges. The next one, please. So just to say quickly, we are a very global community. We attract people from all over the world. At the moment, over 49 students of ours are from 160 different countries. So I think that that's also very valuable, as I was saying, everything that you'll learn in class and outside of the classroom, because you will have people from different backgrounds, different religions, different cultures, different traditions, different environment, and you also can bring to the classroom, what are your experiences what Chile needs to bring to the classroom, to the community. And we're always very open to hear all of this. And yes, so I guess the next one, please. The University of Edinburgh, and I'm just quickly going to speak about it in a very big way, macro way, sorry. So the University of Edinburgh, and maybe we can go to the next one, please, Felicia. That would be easier. So the University of Edinburgh has 3 colleges. So we have the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. We have the College of Science and Engineering, and we also have the College of Medicine and Veterinary Medicine. And we have 21, 23 schools within these 3 colleges, and we have a number of research centers within the colleges as well. And we have worked towards having really good research, good innovation opportunities. And that is why we also thought of starting the Edinburgh's Futures Institute. And with this, I would like to now pass the to my colleague Kate, and she can continue to speak about the Edinburgh Futures Institute and the rest that we'll be listening to this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Delinda, and welcome everyone. It's lovely to be here virtually, or however we might call it. My name's Kate Alton-Johnson. I'm a sociologist. I'm based in the College of Arts, Humanities and Social Science, but I'm here today with my Director of Education hat on as part of the Edinburgh Futures Institute. And the Edinburgh Futures Institute is made up of 3 kind of units. One focused on teaching, one focused on research, and one focused on innovation. And what we're trying to do in EFI is merge those 3 spheres together and bring people together to solve what's been called in the academic world as kind of wicked problems. And the idea of wicked problems is that in today's society, there are really complex challenges that we face that defy kind of straightforward solutions. And these complex problems are things that, face us as global challenges, from climate to data, to use today's example. But we're also suggesting that complex questions represent real opportunities for innovation and deep understanding, which kind of connects with the logic of the scholarships. So Felicia, if you could move us on. So what we're doing in EFI to try and tackle these wicked problems is bring together a whole different range of people and disciplines and academic subject groups to try and tackle these kind of complex global issues. So it's about an interdisciplinary teaching space, bringing the arts, humanities, social sciences together with the medics, the vets and the natural scientists and the engineers to think really critically about the social, the global, the cultural, the digital issues that require us to think about education and think about the global world in different ways. So EFI is about bringing groups of academics and students and people from industry together to think about these uncomfortable questions and to think about the different ways in which we can work together and think together as students, as academics, as publics, as governments, and as part of industry. So what we're doing in EFI, from your perspective as students, is embracing non-traditional ways of working, challenging and co-creating with industry, academics and students to try and, to use our kind of #tagline, challenge, create and change. So to think about the ways in which we can co-create to tackle these wicked problems to try and build better futures. So that's the kind of big picture overview. For you as students, what does that mean for, what studying in EFI looks like? Well, unlike doing a traditional master's where you might be sitting in a sociology or an English or an arts subject area, in EFI you're in an interdisciplinary space where academics from across the schools of the university come together and collaborate to teach the EFI programmes. And what we hope this interdisciplinary offering does for you is give you a whole range of critical data creative skills that are needed to navigate the kind of challenging questions that we face as a global society going forward. Students join us from across the world, from a range of different disciplinary backgrounds, and students can study wholly online, wholly on campus, or a combination of both. And what we're doing is connecting students to issues that they care about. We're connecting students with live projects in industry, for example, partners in the community and in government, to work together on key issues around interdisciplinary global critical thinking. And we're particularly focused on how issues of data and sustainability fit into those kind of complex problems. So if we can move on, please, Felicia. One of the ways in which we do that is to teach in a slightly different way. We have a teaching model called fusion teaching, which is again about bringing together groups of people from different places, different parts of the world to collaborate in in-person and online spaces. So what you're looking at in this image here is a fusion classroom where we've got people from who are taking our courses online, collaborating with people that are here with us on campus. So there's always a mix of a global community working together online and offline. Part of the logic of this is we want to try and be as inclusive as possible, because we believe that the more voices and the more collaboration we can foster, the more chance we have to be this future-facing space of teaching and learning. So it's about flexible modes of study, it's about a community-focused orientation to working together. We try to be as accessible as possible so that we're open to as many students as possible, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. And we also connect with employers to give students opportunities, but also to collaborate in different ways and support various projects that are going on in and around Edinburgh, Scotland, and the world. So if you could move us on, please, Felicia, thank you. So we're talking particularly today about AI and data ethics and the circular economy programme, but this slide is just to give you a picture of the range of master's programmes that are offered by EFI. We have one undergraduate programme in interdisciplinary futures, and a range of master's programmes that, as you can see from that very broad list, cover a whole load of different aspects of these kind of wicked problems that I've been talking about. So if you were to join us on the AI and data ethics or the circular economy programme, you will also be collaborating and working with students from across the range of programmes that EFI offers. If you could move us on, please, Felicia. Thank you. So I wanted to say a little bit about our programme structure, because again, it might look a little bit different from other master's programmes that you've seen before. We have what's called our shared core, and these are programmes that are courses that are central to EFI that students on all of those programmes that I listed study. So you will work together with students from across our range of programmes to study our shared core courses, which are focused on critical interdisciplinary thinking and how to be a critical future data thinker. That's a bit of a mouthful, but that our intention is to give everyone a kind of shared understanding of what we're trying to achieve with critical interdisciplinary thinking in EFI. Then each programme will have its own core courses. So circular economy, AI data ethics will have courses that students only on that programme will study. And those are to introduce you to the kind of key aims and themes and concepts that will scaffold your programme work. You then have what we call electives, which are choices from across the EFI portfolio that you can choose to study. And you'll be supported by a student advisor in making those choices. So some people, for example, come to us with very clear idea of what they want to study and the path they want to take. Others might feel quite overwhelmed by the choice, but you have a lot of guidance in kind of shaping your curriculum. We then have a 40 credit project, which again, some students come to us with a very clear idea of what they want to research. They might be coming from industry or a particular background where they know what they want to explore when they're here. Other students just come because they're interested in the programme and their project idea emerges as they work through the electives and the core courses. And we have an integration course that provides the link between your project work and all of the work that you've done in the taught courses. So it's a kind of bridge to help you think critically and reflectively about what you're doing and what you want to get out of EFI and the master's programme. Thank you, Felicia. Our teaching model is also slightly different. We have the shared core courses that I talked about are delivered every 2 weeks in 2-hour sessions, in person and on campus. Oh God, I can't say it. In person and online with our fusion groups. These take place every Wednesday morning. All of the other courses outside of the core are taught in a 5-week intensive model block. So you would have 2 weeks of pre-intensive preparatory activity, which is largely asynchronous. It might be reading, it might be looking at particular videos or resources, largely online. You will then all come together for a 2-day intensive teaching block, where on Monday, Tuesday or Thursday, Friday, you're all working together as a group in the intensive teaching part of the course. And then you would have 2 weeks of what we call post-intensive activities, where you're working on assessment, following up largely in group work with teaching activities that follow on from that 2-day intensive teaching block. I know that's quite a lot to take in, so I'm happy to answer questions about that as we go forward. But it's just a slightly different model of teaching that we hope gives people a bit more space to collaborate and experience other parts of the university, because your timetable is a bit more fluid and flexible than it would be on a traditional master's taught course. So if you could move us on, please, Felicia. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the circular economy and the data ethics programmes. I'll start with a brief caveat that as Director of Education, I'm not an expert on these particular programmes. I can give you the general oversight, but my colleagues, in this case Tony Freitas, who's based in the School of Geosciences, is the Programme Director for the Circular Economy programme, and she'll be happy to answer questions if you wanted to follow up with her afterwards. We have an EFI email inquiry address that I can pass on to you. But in circular economy, it basically means thinking differently about how we manage our resources in the world. So it's thinking differently about our current economic and cultural wasteful models and trying to think about how we can design out waste, how we can design out pollution, how we can try and make a sustainable economic model that doesn't, locally and globally, that doesn't undermine the health of the planet, and that helps to support and grow us as individuals, as communities, and as businesses for a sustainable future. And Tony's very passionate about the interdisciplinarity of circular economy. Like, it's not just geologists or engineers or social scientists that can tackle the challenge of what it means to move forward and promote a circular economy locally and globally. And it is the importance of this kind of interdisciplinary collaboration between you as students, us as academics, between governments and business leaders, to come together in a space like EFI to try and learn how to collaborate and address these complicated questions. So I won't read the whole slide because we'll be here forever, but if you could move us on, please, Felicia. So what you will do, as with all the programmes, there's the EFI shared core. There's the circular economy core courses that focus on central concepts in the circular economy and what you need to understand the circular economy, design for the circular economy, and business perspectives on how we move towards a circular economy. And those, again, draw on interdisciplinary contributions from across the schools of geosciences, social sciences, and design. And I've given you a kind of summary of some of the elective courses that you might choose to explore as part of the options of the degree programme. So you can see there's courses from chemistry, from the College of Art, from law, from engineering, and that's just a very small snapshot of some of the courses that you could pursue to build up this kind of circular economy portfolio as part of the master's degree that, again, will map on to the project where you will be supported in your own learning journey to pursue your own interests around the circular economy. If we could move on, please, Felicia. Okay, so to give you the second whistle-stop tour of the master's programme, the other programme we're looking at today is on AI and data ethics. This is hosted in EFI and is also part of the Centre for Techno-Moral Futures at the University of Edinburgh, which is headed up by Professor Shannon Valler. If you could move us on, please, Felicia. And this is, again, a new interdisciplinary degree that was launched in September last year, so we're on our second cohort of students. Shannon is among, one of the world leading experts in this field, and her colleagues have designed the programme drawing on a range of subject areas from philosophy to informatics, the sciences, social and technical sciences. And her aim for this programme is to try and meet the very urgent demand for skilled interdisciplinary thinkers that are knowledgeable in the ethical sort of design, use and governance of AI in particular, but also other emergent data technologies as they become more and more part of our day-to-day lives. A couple of years ago, talking about AI had a slightly different meaning. Now with ChatGPT and various kind of large processing models, AI is becoming increasingly part of the kind of narrative in the public, consensus at a local and global level. So I think there's never been a kind of more timely time. That's not a very good sentence. Never been a more timely time for this degree. But what you'll be looking at is the ethical design and use of AI and data. So thinking very critically about what it means to live in a data-saturated world and how we can do that ethically. So it's about mapping values, principles and practices and thinking about how those values relate to policy, regulation and design. So the programme will teach you how to identify and evaluate practical interventions, how to think about the emergence of ethical norms, how to translate and communicate ethical concepts to a whole different range of audiences outside academics, and how to work collaboratively with a range of different people to produce this kind of clear sense of guidelines and frameworks for ethical design and governance in a digital world. moving on. And sorry, just looking at the chat, it was Shannon Valler, who's the professor who's leading on the AI and data ethics. Much like circular economy in terms of thinking about employment and post-masters futures, industry, public sector, third sector, all very in need of critical thinkers around data and AI and ethics, and I would argue circular economy as well. So there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration with a range of sectors. We do that as part of the master's programme, and we also support you in thinking about how you can develop your career post EFI as one of our kind of critical thinking alumni. If you could move us on, please, Felicia, thank you. Again, a very snapshot overview of what the programme looks like. You will again have the core courses that are shared by everybody. AI and data ethics core courses focus, unsurprisingly, on AI and data ethics, on law and governance within data ethics. And then there's a range of elective courses, again, from robotics and informatics to algorithmic bias and politics and democracy in data-driven societies. And again, there's just a few examples of the kinds of projects that students have engaged in as part of their own programme of work within the overall master's programme. If you could move us on, please, Anisha. I've included this slide, you and EFI, to kind of make the point that we very much see our EFI students as active collaborators in the Edinburgh Futures Institute. So we encourage you to think about learning beyond the classroom. Delinda kind of spoke to it, you know, the kind of life experience of being here, but we're also thinking about that as learning beyond the classroom in a global community, because you will be working with people that are also joining us from all over the world. We have a large EFI events programme that is open to the public, to students, to academics, and it's a really great space to network, to meet people, to find out about what other people are working on in EFI. We also offer across the university subject-specific events and seminars. There's university-wide events. You won't be bored is my take-home message there. And I think the point that I want to make is it can be quite overwhelming, I think, to come to a different city as a student, you know, not really necessarily knowing what to expect or you know, what's the wealth of choices that are available to you. And in EFI, we want to support you and to help you to find your community, but also to be an active member of, you know, making your own community here in EFI. So it's bringing me right back to kind of my first slide and thinking of EFI as a collaborative space that isn't just about a bunch of academics telling you what we think you need to know, because we very much see it as a space for collective endeavour. And I will stop talking now and hand over to Felicia to talk about the money.
So Gabrielle already briefly mentioned what this scholarship award looks like, which would bring you to Edinburgh to study these fantastic courses, which Kate has just spoken about. I'll also add that Professor Tony Freitas and Professor Shannon Valler are two incredibly passionate individuals, and it really just seeps out of them. Hearing them talking about these programs that they're leading is incredibly inspirational. So just to add that little bit, but we are incredibly grateful to have this partnership with the Luksic Foundation, and the scholarship that's being offered will award 3 scholars to come and study on campus full-time here in Edinburgh. The award will be covering international tuition, a living stipend, as well as a one-time travel fee to help get you set up as you travel here. The award is, like I mentioned, for full-time on-campus study only, and it will be awarded based on academic merit, but other factors will be taken into account, including your interest in social change in Chile, evidence of work experience in the public sector, or if you're the first in your family to attend university or from a region outside of Santiago, those other factors will be taken into consideration. And all of this information can be found on the scholarship page. And I think a link will probably be shared out, and there is a link on one of the following slides as well. So when you go to apply, the first step is to actually apply for the MSc of interest. When you go to one of the websites below, these two links for circular economy or data and AI ethics, you will then be redirected to a page that looks similar to this one here on the screen. You then hit apply, and that's how you get started. When you go to apply for the scholarship, the screen's going to look more like this. It's going to have details about entry requirements, and the deadline to apply is the 4th of April, with places awarded by the 13th of June. So only a couple weeks left for the 2024-2025 intake. And if there's any other questions that you have, I did include this link at the bottom of the slide there, which can help you walk through the process step by step for applying. And I think these links will probably be shared out after the info session.
Yes, exactly. I can include that in the email alongside the recording, Felicia. Perfect.
Kate mentioned earlier sharing out an email address where you can send further queries. If you have any questions about the programming, about scholarships, about qualifications, you can send an email to efi.education@ed.ac.uk. And there's a lot of great information on our website as well. I've also included a link here about what life on campus is like, although Delinda did give a very fantastic overview earlier of what it's like to live and study in Edinburgh. It really is a beautiful city.
Perfect. Thanks, Felicia. Just wanted to add a couple points before we jump into the Q&A in the last few minutes here. Yes, as a reminder, applications are closing on April 4th. So do submit your application to the program, the scholarship by that date. I did also just want to comment on the Luksic scholarships themselves. There is no obligation or sort of requirement to accept the support that we offer. You don't have to return back to Chile, for example. Instead, what we actually do is voluntarily invite you to join the Luksic Scholars community, where you can get connected with other Chilean scholars who've gone abroad as well for master's programs, who've done a fellowship and whatnot. And then on that, in terms of looking to apply to one of these programs, as Dr. Kate was mentioning, the focus is interdisciplinary. So if you have an academic background and something that maybe isn't 100% related, so to say, to circular economy or data and AI, do really push yourself to apply, whether you have a background in arts, literature, political science, law, science, because these programs do have that interdisciplinary nature. You can certainly learn a lot from them in that way. And then lastly, I was going to mention that EFI has an extremely strong sort of network, as Delinda here. They have a local regional office here to support international students, Chilean students going abroad. And in terms of the scholarships themselves, because there are 3 offered, you are going with 2 other Chileans who are also Luksic scholars, so you certainly are not alone. You have the institutional support and backing of Luksic scholars, of EFI, and you'll be traveling and going with your other colleagues and classmates. So do keep that in mind, that we're here to help you in that way as well, and coordinate with the university to sort of offer that pastoral support. So we can go ahead. Just wanted to offer those comments. We can open the floor for questions. I see there are quite a few in the Q&A, so I know we're all sort of busy seeing which ones we can get to via chat, and which ones we can potentially answer live. Hernan has one, potentially Delinda and Kate, if there are any age requirements to apply to the programs. No age requirement, Hernan. Neither for the scholarship as well.
If I may say something, Gabrielle, because
Sure.
most of the questions that we have had and that I am answering are about the English language test. So someone was asking if it could be a different test or only the TOEFL. So if I may say, for both of these programs, we can accept the IELTS exam with a total of 7, with at least 6.5 in each one of the components. And also it can be the TOEFL internet-based test, and we will need at least 100 with at least 23 in each component. We could also accept the C1 Advanced CAE GAE or the C2 Proficiency CPE with a total of 185 or at least 176 in each component. And there's also another test called Trinity ISE, and we can have that in ISE 3 with passes in all 4 components. And a PTE academic with a total of 70 with at least 62 in each component. I would think that most likely you will have the IELTS or the TOEFL, but we can also accept those other tests just in case.
Awesome. Thanks, Delinda. First, in advancing in those questions, I see there are a few about applying if you have a child or going with family. Of course, certainly apply for the program for the scholarship. It is important to note, though, that the funding itself from the Luksic Scholarship only goes towards the student. It does not go for dependents or family members. Also important to look at the visa and requirements for that. I don't know if Kate and Delinda, you guys wanted to touch upon that.
Yes, if I may say, yes, you can come to Edinburgh if you have a partner, if you're married, if you have dependents, children, everyone can come. As Gabrielle is saying, we will need to look at the visa that you'll need. With the visa that you'll have as a student, your dependents can come to school, can attend school, and your partner will be able to work full-time. So yes, you can do that. Also, if you're wondering where to stay, the university has a student accommodation. There are some options for couples and or for families. There are few, so just for you to take that in mind. And also you'll need to see where you will be staying, because depending on where you are living is the school that your children will have to go to. Public school, I mean.
Perfect. Thank you, Delinda. I'm seeing if the English language test is mandatory, even if someone studied previously in English or have degrees in English.
I think that will depend on the admissions people, but I would think that if they have done a degree in an English-speaking country, it might be that they do not need the English language test, but that's always for admissions to say. The other thing is that some people were asking earlier if they could apply without having the results of their English language test. Yes, you can apply, but you need to know that admissions will check the full application. So you will need to send that very, very soon, because without that, we're not going to be able to give an answer, or the answer might be an acceptance, but with a condition. And until you tick off those conditions, you will then get an unconditional offer. So just bear in mind that.
Great. I think that is it for now. I know Martina had a question about recommending submitting more than one reference. Would recommend Martina looking at the site and what the actual application requirements are to see if it's what that would be in terms of the reference letters required, recommended. And I think any other questions can be directed to EFI. I know that Kate had left the email. I had also put that in the chat as well. And then you guys will get all of these links, the presentation, the recording, all sent to your email. And we also hope that you feel quite inspired, that you're excited for this opportunity to go abroad, study a master's, be amongst other international students, sort of get that year to focus on your professional development, stay abroad, come back to Chile. Sort of the future is all yours and in your hands. So we hope you feel empowered with this information. Again, do feel free to share with any other friends, colleagues, previous colleagues that you feel would also benefit or be interested in this opportunity. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have. And we want to thank EFI, the University of Edinburgh as well, Belinda, Kate, and Felicia for all of your help. It's been wonderful partnering with you guys and launching this opportunity together. So
Thank
awesome.
you. No, it's been great to partner
Yeah.
with you. And thank you for today's invitation.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Wonderful.
And we hope
Take
to
care, everyone.
see some of you in Edinburgh soon.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, awesome. I'll end it here. Take care,
Thanks.
everyone. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.